Hi everyone, I'm Anthony DiMoro and welcome to another edition of SportsRantz University. In this video, we are going to talk about internet radio sports talk shows and how you need to make sure that your show is as viral as possible, especially when you want to compete with the big boys, and especially if you want to compete with terrestrial radio. Now here's the advantage we have as internet radio shows over terrestrial radio. They can't grasp the concept of social media, at least the majority of them. They cannot grasp how to properly use it. And usually this is because even if they wanted to, they don't have the manpower to do so. They're too busy producing and putting on radio shows. Now, I love radio. I like terrestrial radio. I happen to be a listener of AM radio for sports talk. I listen to Mike and Mike in the Morning, all of the same sports radio shows that you probably listen to. And I also put on an internet radio show. So I understand my natural advantages and disadvantages. In terrestrial radio, you're on larger markets, you're exposed to a deeper audience, and advertisers are already used to paying for air slots on radio and seeing the results. If you're on internet radio, you're viral immediately, something terrestrial radio cannot achieve. But also, you have the power to build an audience. Your disadvantage, just like mine, is you don't have the audience that even terrestrial radio in smaller markets might have. But the thing is, with terrestrial radio, they're capped. They can hit a certain demographic in a certain community, a certain area, nationally, but at some, unless they're a national sports radio show, they're really capped. Your local affiliates are capped with the local community, because how else are they going to get their episodes out there? You guys have the power of being viral, but as radio show hosts, you have to be able to put yourself above and beyond what other internet sports radio show hosts do, and be different from other internet sports shows. Now here's the thing. Everybody who is on the internet doing a sports radio show has a shot at doing something good just as much as you do. They have a shot at making some noise. You're going to want to do something unique and diverse. Now, everybody uses social media to an extent, and that's a beautiful thing. In fact, I use it for the Ranton and Raven show every Tuesday night between 7 and 9 Eastern Standard Time. We engage in our audience. Now, some weeks it works really well, other weeks it doesn't. It's hit or miss with a lot of these social sites like Facebook and Twitter. Sometimes people are on it and really engaged, and some people can only do so much from their phones. So there are limitations to that. But here's the beautiful thing. Most internet radio shows are on iTunes. They are easily be streamed live online and archived, which is a huge advantage over terrestrial radio. The fact that their content cannot go viral until after their show is, and even if it can after that, is a huge disadvantage. People want their information now. They're used to getting it fast, and they don't want to have to wait around. So why should they? Well, here's the thing. We have all these advantages, but you gotta use your tools at your hand to diversify your show. It's a much harder bridge from terrestrial radio to go to internet radio and learn a whole new medium and master it. They're good in their space. They're good on terrestrial radio. It'd be hard for an internet talk show host to go over to terrestrial radio and learn that style. That transition would not be easy. Conversely, the other method isn't easy. This is why radio struggles with grasping internet. So I want to say this. Internet marketing, or internet sports talk show hosts, you have to use social media correctly, and you have to target your audience. Everybody wants to talk sports on Twitter. So sometimes it can be hard to get your voice heard. But if you do something right, and you do it correctly, utilizing a blog on a social site, such as SportsRantz.com, it can really broaden your audience. You're already in front of a sports audience. Take advantage of it. Be interactive. Come in and create a fun blog. Now, one of the new features of SportsRantz.com is creating your own social site. So think about this. You have a whole bunch of listeners tuning in every week to your radio show, right? Correct. Even terrestrial radio, this totally applies to you. Why not have a social networking site? Think about it like this. How many people do you know in the industry that you're in, be it terrestrial radio or internet sports radio? How many other people do you know have a Facebook fan page? I guarantee all of you just nodded and said, a great majority of my friends, at least 5 friends. Now think about this. In the world of Facebook and Twitter, every radio show has a Twitter page too. Think about it like this. Every one of those are small little fishes in a huge ocean. It's hard to catch a small little tiny fish in a huge ocean, let alone find one. Now think about being that same size fish in a small pond. Better chance, right? Think about putting yourself in a fishbowl. Now that is the difference between just sticking your show across Facebook and Twitter, which is great, but that's the big ocean. The pond, getting on sport, doing your blog and tying it to your show, that's awesome too, right? You bring it to that small little fishbowl that you want to get it to, your own social network. Now you can either pay thousands of dollars to develop a social networking site. Trust me, I've started several. My first internet marketing or internet social networking adventure cost me close to $20,000. And you know where it is right now? I took it down because it was just far too much work. It's a full-time job. I do SportsRantz because I have the luxury of having a job that allows me to be on the internet all day, and running my own company kind of helps because I can make my own schedule. So that's a benefit that I have, but not many of you have that benefit. You guys probably work out of house. And you guys probably go somewhere, have to clock in, clock out, and they're not going to let you obviously build your other company while working for them. So it can be hard. So you have to take these advantages and take these opportunities to do something special. Now, let me start off with this. Having a blog tied to your radio show on SportsRantz.com is a great thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm asking you to think outside the box as well. Use another one of our features, a social network. Imagine this. Imagine logging into your own social networking environment, your own version of Facebook that is custom to your show. If you're doing a show called Bob's Sports Talk, imagine people logging into Bob's Sports Talk, participating in discussions on there. But here's the thing, you have to make it appealing and interesting for them to be in there. Engage in that. Make that your website. And that's what you can do on SportsRantz.com. Another thing is you can have your blog, you can have your entire website and your social networking in one place. You buy your .com or .net, you 301 redirect it to your social networking environment on SportsRantz.com, and voila, you have your full working site without having to dump tens of thousands of dollars into creating it and then thousands of dollars to maintain it. If you get a social site, that's great. The money that goes into the servers to keep it up live, the development to keep it constant, and the manpower to market it. Now, one advantage I do have is I run my own SEO internet marketing company. So a lot of what I do, all of my marketing is completely, if you think about it, in-house. I don't have to go outside of it for anything. I don't have to. I don't have to subcontract anybody to do anything. But here's the point: a lot of websites out there, radio show, social marketing, or networking environments that do have something valuable, do have something that people are going to want to see and want to be a part of. They have to learn to market that. You can have the greatest concept in the world, the most fun website, and you can be really active in it. But if nobody knows about your website, nobody's going to go to it, nobody's going to join it, nobody's going to participate in it, which means nobody's going to be able to connect to you. This is also a fabulous thing for branding. So we're going to introduce this social networking environment, and it's going to be something different for you guys. Now, I want you guys to understand that this brings everything you're doing to a whole new level. Giveaways. People participating with your show after it's on the air. Between shows. This is a way for you to personally get in front of your audience. You know what happens in business when you have a personal relationship with somebody? They do repeat business. You know those commercials? I've been doing business with Jack Jones Auto Company for 25 years. I would never go anywhere else. Loyalty, customer loyalty. Think about the loyalty you have from developing a personal relationship with the sports fans who tune into your show, who are in your social networking environment. Because you know what social networking environments like Twitter and Facebook are notorious for doing? They make you feel like you're a part of the same crowd as the celebrities, as the athletes, as the media personalities. Facebook looks at you the same way as well. It's all equality on there. Everybody's viewed the same. You put yourself in a social networking environment, these fans will connect with you on a whole nother level. Trust me. I've done it. SportsRantz.com was because I wanted to connect with sports fans, and now I do. And because of that, I didn't strive into this to do sports talk radio, but now I do. Several months into Sports Rants, we decided to launch an internet radio station. Now we got a load of shows on there, and we're #1 rated for sports radio shows. My point being is you can accomplish incredible things online. And if you look at all our videos on SportsRantz.com, you're going to see why that's a benefit for being on this site. You guys know the power of it. So you have this opportunity, you have the audience, you have the idea, you have the content, you have the drive, you want to make it happen, make it happen. Let me tell you, because your competitors on terrestrial radio are figuring out how to attack this market, and eventually, they're moving at a snail's pace, but eventually they're going to catch up, be far ahead of them, and blow them out of the water. Advertisers will come knocking on your door if you have something that reaches a ton of people, is entertaining, and offers them something unique. And if you're all doing it at a fraction of the cost that it would to be developing it on your own, you're steps ahead of the game. So we're going to get into developing your social networking website as Sports Rants develops this. Of course, we're going to work out some kinks and stuff like that, but I'm going to iron these out for you. And you know what, guys? By the end of SportsRantz University, which I don't think, since internet is a constantly evolving world, I don't see it ever ending. But I would say, as you get really versed in SportsRantz University, you're going to be an expert in understanding how the internet works, understanding in concept what SEO is, understanding how to apply it to your very own blog, structure it, understanding how to gauge results in analytics. You're going to be one heck of a blogger. You're going to be one heck of a social media person. And now you're going to run your own social networking. And you're going to be a guru at it. Trust me, I'm going to teach you guys the stuff that I know. Now, eventually, you guys are going to want to take it to a whole nother level. And that's where I want to get you guys at. Because you know what? A lot of companies can sit here and try to sell you something. And I'm in the business of selling internet marketing and search engine optimization. And on the same token, I want to help the internet become better, and I want to do the things that is opposite of the SEO industry. A lot of the SEO industry, this is a little rant on that, how appropriate sports rants, but my rant on it is it's got a lot of negative aspects in it because there is a lot of spamming people in the industry. It's a greed infested. I worked at a firm that was cutthroat and all numbers based, and just constantly everybody was pitted against one another. And I'm a competitive person, but that's not a healthy environment. And I'll tell you, now that I see the good in SEO, what creativity and ideas are not restricted, and they're free. And you need to let your creativity and your ideas flow, because the great ideas in this world, guys, are somebody just like you and I starting out, taking it and going with it. You guys are all passionate about what you do. I watch your rants every day. I read them. I read your blogs. You guys know what you're doing. Take it to that next level. Because I'm telling you, there is more talent in what I see on Twitter, on Sports Rants, on Facebook, than half of what I see when I tune in ESPN. And that's honest. And I think you guys can have an incredible tool here, and we can do something powerful on Sports Rants. And you know what? You guys can make it your own. This can be some legit things. So we're going to go over steps. So you guys are going to learn how to implement it, play around with it. You're going to learn how each of the plugins work. You're going to learn how to develop your social networking site, tie in your already kick-ass blog, throw in some SEO to maintain it and drive traffic to it, and then all of a sudden you're going to be in a world of your own. So that was a nice introduction get you online sports radio. And terrestrial radio, guys, I don't want you to feel like this is just directed at internet radio shows. It's not. This is for you guys too. I spoke broadly what I just ranted in the past 5 minutes. This applies to you too. And I know most stations have a lot of red tape with what they have to do. Well, let me tell you something. If you're just doing a generic show and on SportsRantz, or you want to bring your show on SportsRantz and just blog, that's cool too. But if you want a social networking environment, you're more than welcome to come on here as well. It's worth it. And it's worth it because this website has the audience you're going to want to get in front of. It's going to let you have the creative freedom that Facebook and Twitter do not allow you to have, or don't have the functionality to have. And we're going to show you and give you the tools and the knowledge on how to do it. So I've ranted enough on it, and stay tuned, guys. And you know what? If this is your first time tuning into the SportsRantz University, go check out my other videos on SEO and see what we're talking about. See all these things. I don't expect you to learn this stuff overnight, so bookmark this. Or go on over to EliteRankMarketing.com and learn more about SEO. This is what I want. This is why I'm on here, guys. This is why I'm doing this, so you can learn this stuff. So if you want to, if you have an interest, more than welcome. You can always shoot me an email. Follow me on Twitter at Anthony DiMoro, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Or if you want to bounce something off of me, definitely let me know. So until next time on SportsRantz University, guys, happy blogging, and now I guess happy social networking, right? Right. All right, guys, take care.
Just your track.